And tap up again. Welcome back to the channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, hey, sit back, relax, and enjoy our wacky show for you today. So, I do want to give a big shout out to everybody who has liked, subscribed, and shared all the stuff on the channel. Thank you all so very much. I could not do it without you. And if you're still watching, hey, hit the subscribe button, help me out a little bit, and you never know what we got coming down the pipe in the future. As I hinted out from the previous video, which if you haven't watched, what are you doing? Go back and watch it after this video. Uh, there is a request for a commander that somebody wanted to see what my evil brain would come up with. Indeed. So, that's what we did. And, well, let's dive in and see just what the commander was, shall we? We are talking about none other than the Jolly Balloonman. So if you haven't ever seen this guy, let me tell you all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this thing's nuts, okay? So for 3 mana, 1 and a white and a red, we get a 1/4 human clown. But what we do get is a creature that has haste and the following ability. Pay 1, tap in. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature in addition to its other types. And it has flying and haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. This means that if you play your cards right, it gets really ugly really fast. So there's a couple of different ways you can go about this deck. You can kind of do like a Boros control style, which I've seen on another YouTuber's channel before, and it hard locked the entire game for, I mean, some serious turns. He had a really good lock. I kind of put a splash of that in here, really with just one card. You can go very wide token strategy and maybe find a way to keep your tokens from not being sacrificed. That's not a bad option. You can go basically infinite if you copy the right things, which is be sort of what I did here. It's on a budget, so you know we're looking at the price tag of about $31 with everything rounded up. So it's definitely going to be a lot more budget friendly. We're definitely more, you know, we're okay kind of thing. If you have the right setup, you can go infinite, I'm sure. You need like a whole bunch of mana and stuff. So we're not quite going infinite per se, but if we get set up right, there's a good chance we could go infinite. And let me just show you what I mean, okay? Okay. So let's look into this. So obviously, first up, we are a very, very, very creature heavy deck. And we're gonna start off with Agros Cos, Eternal Soldier. Could they make names any harder to pronounce in Magic? I think so. Shouldn't have said that, now they're going to. So this thing is 4 mana for a 3/4 with Vigilance. And it says whenever it becomes target of an ability that targets only it, Balloonman will, you may pay 1 in a Boros. And if you do, copy that ability for each other creature you control. That ability could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So, potentially, you could copy this guy, and if we had enough creatures on the battlefield, Jolly Balloonman's ability starts copying all of it. And, well, we like that. We have Etsushi the Blazing Sky. Yes, it's a legendary dragon spirit that has 4 mana, 4/4 for flying trample. It blocks things, it can attack, and we don't really care if it dies, because when it dies, we get to choose. We're either going to exile the top 2 cards of our library, and until the end of our next turn, we may play those cards. Very, very important phrasing right there, because that means if we hit lands, we're able to play our lands from there for our land drop instead of from our hand, or make 3 treasures so we get instantly ramp. So you could see where we could potentially copy Etsushi with Balloonman, let the token copy die, and get either option that we need. Now, if we're set up right, we could generate basically infinite mana doing this if we're set up correctly. it's a little bit flippy floppy kind of thing, but you'll see. Cathar Commando, we could always make a copy of this. It has flash. Pay one, sack it, destroy an artifact or enchantment. The token's going away anyway, so it's not a bad idea to keep this thing on the battlefield, make a copy of it, yeet it into the oblivion, and blow up something that's giving us a problem. Next up, we have Charming Scoundrel. Another thing that has a really good enters the battlefield or ETB ability. So it has haste, and then when it enters the battlefield, we can choose one of the following. Discard a card, draw a card. Not bad. So we get a little bit of card advantage, or replacement, I guess you could say. Recycling, rummaging. We can make a treasure token, or we can make a wicked roll attached to a creature we control. Probably not ever going to do the bottom. It's probably going to be one of the first two options. More than likely, we're going to make treasures, because we need mana. The Circuit Mender is a great card, I think, in this deck. So when it enters, we gain 2 life. When it leaves the battlefield, we get to draw a card. The token we make gets sacrificed. So it gets yeeted into the oblivion. We get to draw a card. Seems like a win-win to me. This is part of the infinite combo you can do if we're set up right. So Corsica Recruiter. I give up. Apparently I cannot English. So when Recruiter or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, target creature, you gain control of it until end of turn. Untap that creature, and until end of turn, it gains haste and becomes a pirate in addition to the types. So this means if we're set up right, we can make copies of this to untap the Balloonman, make another copy of this, and as long as we have mana, we're able to just kind of flip-flop back and forth. We have Inferno Titan, always a huge, big, dumb, idiotic target, if you will. So when it enters or attacks, we can deal 3 damage divided as we choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Helpful Hunter, ETBs, draw a card. Gold Mirror, one of our pieces we need. Like, keep in mind, we're on a budget, so this is like, we need like 5 or 6 things on the battlefield to go right, okay? This is like Magical Christmas Land. It's a simple mana dork. If you've never seen this card before, tap, add a white mana. Iron Mirror down below does the same thing, but it makes a red mana. Fine Scroll Celebrant, probably not ever going to cast it for its creature side. Instead, we're probably casting it for its backside. At instant speed, we can pay white. Your opponents can't cast spells or activate a planeswalker abilities this turn. We exile this card. This means when we're ready to go for it, we can play this and protect ourselves. Or if somebody is looking like they're going to win, we could do this on their upkeep. So they can untap, upkeep, hit them with this, and hopefully keep them from winning. More than likely, it's going to be a protection piece for us. Eartha Joe, Frontier Mentor. So when it enters, we make a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate all as a sorcery. Well, they do. Whenever you activate an ability that targets a creature or player, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. So this could essentially be another part to our infinites. With this, Etsushi, Balloonman, and Recruiter, we could potentially go infinite and just have like a ridiculous amount of things, honestly. Because you can, it doesn't say the restriction of only once a turn, so you can use Balloonman, tap him, copy Etsushi. Eartha's going to see this. So when Etsushi dies, we get mana. Well, Eartha's going to say, hey, you did an ability, so let's copy that ability. So then we're going to do the Recruiter to untap a creature that we're going to gain control of. Well, we're going to control our Balloonman, so we don't really care. So we're going to untap the Balloonman, and you can see where this goes infinite at that point. We're just stacking and stacking and stacking. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, if we have another target, once we've basically generated infinite mana, then we can start copying like Eartha Joe here and make a whole buttload of these mercenaries. We can make a whole buttload of just what we want to at this point. Eowyn, the Fearless Knight, we could just repetitively just exile somebody's big bad legendary creatures and just not even care about it. Inspiring Overseer, we can gain life and draw cards. Iron Mirror makes mana. Karmic Guide allows us to basically reanimate something when it enters the battlefield. By the way, we can just copy this thing and we're in business. Mage's Attendant, I thought it'd be kind of a sneaky card to have in here. You can make a copy of this, and when it enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1 blue wizard creature token with pay 1, sacrifice this creature. Counter target non-creature spell unless the controller pays 1. So it's a cheeky little way in Boros to kind of protect our board just a little bit. Mentor the Meat, draw cards whenever something power 2 or less enters the battlefield, as long as we pay 1 mana, of course. Molten Gatekeeper would be an interesting way to end the game at this point with Etsushi, Eartha, Recruiter, and Balloonman. So, like I said, it's like a 5-card combo, really. It's very convoluted because we're on a budget. But anytime a creature enters battlefield under our control, he deals 1 damage to everybody that's not us. Each opponent gets dinged, so that's a good way to end the game. Solemn Simulacrum would be hilarious, in my opinion, to copy. Because you copy it, you get to find lands, and when it dies, you get to draw cards. It's just hilarious to me. Skyclave Apparition, you can exile stuff. I don't care if you get a stupid token back. I'll exile the token next. I don't care. Rumor Gatherer, we can scry for the first time a creature enters the battlefield under control. And then if it's the second time, we get to not only scry again, draw a card. Now that only triggers once a turn. So we'll continuously scry, sure, but we won't be able to draw more than just that one time. Restoration Angel allows us to basically blink. So we can make, if we had infinite mana, then we could blink Balloonman and just keep going. So you could have Restoration Angel, Balloonman, and Atsushi, and you generate infinite mana. After that, it's just kind of what we want to do to win at that point, if we're set up enough. Patron of the Arts, kind of a similar thing. When it enters or dies, make treasures. Ornithopter at Paradise, basically the artifact version of Birds of Paradise. It makes mana. Sparring Mummy, when it enters the battlefield, untap target creatures. So you can make, if you had infinite mana, you can make infinite copies of this guy to infinitely untap the Jolly Balloonman. Spirited Companion, you can draw all the cards. The Split Skin Doll, cannot English today. When it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. Unless you control a creature of power 2 or less, you have to discard a card. Our commander has 1. It's not going to be hard. Sun Titan Fun Titan, when it enters or attacks, return something from our graveyard that's mana value 3 or less. Hooray! Village Bellringer, when he enters, untap all creatures you control. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So if you have either Iron Mirror, Gold Mirror, Ornithopter at Paradise, any one of those, our commander and the Bellringer, we make infinite attackers. They're only 1/1s, but they're infinite, and they have flying and haste. So we win. Wall of Omens enters the battlefield, draw a card. Welcoming Vampire, whenever a creature of power 2 or less enters the battlefield under our control, draw a card. Only once each turn. This is one of the lock pieces I was talking about earlier, Yosei the Morning Star. So whenever it dies, target player skips his or her next untapped step. Tap up to 5 target permanents that player controls. So, if you wanted to go more on the control side, you could put in a couple of the ways that allows you to copy tokens, or make, multiple bodies of the tokens, triples, whatever, because there's like 4 or 5 things that make ridiculous amount of tokens in white, as far as like copies, like doubling season. Anyway, so if you could get at least 2 of those, at least 2 tokens being made every single time you copy this dragon with the Balloonman, you can lock out the battlefield potentially and just start dealing with everybody else one at a time, because they skip their untap step and you're tapping everything they have. So you could go full control. You can yeet this out of the build if you would like, to upgrade the deck a little bit, maybe add a little bit better card draw, or maybe a little bit of the tutoring capability with Recruiter of the Guard and Imperial Recruiter. But for right now, I think it works just fine. It's a late game to just be like, no, you're not hitting me with that Blightsteel Colossus. Thank you very much. And finally, we have Sealess Conscripts. It kind of does the same thing as the Recruiter. When it enters, you can't control the target creature, well, permanent actually, until end of turn. Untap that permanent and gains haste until end of turn. It's predominantly going to untap our Balloonman once we're set up with like infinite mana, and we're just going to go bananas. Our sorcery package and instant package are extremely light. We have Austere Command to wipe the board as well as Fill the Mighty, because most of our stuff is going to be pretty weak, so we don't really mind that. Faithless Looting lets us draw cards. We can actually flash back this spell to do it again. Savine's Reclamation allows us to make sure we can continuously get some of these things back from the graveyard at least twice. Our instance package, we have a Braid, of course, because it's very versatile. It's still a very good card to me, so I still like running in anything that's red X. Deal 3 damage to any target creature or destroy target artifact. Chaos Warp, always a classic in any kind of red X deck. You can shuffle something scary away. Usually you flip over to a land, sometimes instant sorcery. It's usually never like breaking game ending, though I did have one game. I had one game where I was given a ancient silver dragon for Father's Day, and we were talking mid game because this was cast on one of my permanents. I was like, man, it'd be real funny. I'm shuffling, by the way. I'm like, man, that'd be real funny if I flipped over that dragon you just gave me. And he watched me cut the deck. We were kind of a little ways away, so we couldn't quite reach the deck. And I flipped it over, and sure enough, it was that deadgum dragon. So it does happen sometimes, but usually I've seen it hit a land or something way less scary than what you get rid of. Domain Answers, we can sacrifice an artifact or discard a card to draw 2 cards. Display of Power. So copy any number of target instant and or sorcery spells. You may choose new targets for the copies, and this can't be copied. So, it's a kind of, I was seeing this as like a budget way to like protect us, if you will. Like, you could copy somebody's Teferi's Protection, their Force of Will, Fierce Guardianship, anything like that we're kind of like, oh, we need to stop this or we're dead. So, I thought of it as more of like a protection piece than like any kind of combo piece, if that makes any sense. Due to Beyond Death protects our board, sack a creature in addition to cast a spell. Don't really care. But our stuff is going to gain indestructible and put a 1 counter on everything we control. Generous Gift, blow up something. Stroke of Midnight, blow up something. Swords and Path are always in any kind of white X deck to exile problematic creatures like a Blightsteel Colossus. Yep, Fako Blightsteel. We also run Wear and Tear to deal with artifact and enchantment hate. Make a Stand allows us to make our stuff indestructible. So does Rootborn Defense. It also allows us to populate, so we can potentially do more shenanigans, like maybe get another token of Yosei. And then we finally have Ultimate Magic Holy. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If the spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. I love this card in the deck. I don't know why it is under $1. It has foretell, so you could basically fog and keep your stuff alive. And when you foretell it, it's safe. Nobody can be like make you discard your hand or anything weird, because it's safe. It's in its own little zone. I'm really surprised this card's not more on the expensive side, but I'm grateful it's not, because it could be in our deck. So, catch 22 there, I guess. Our artifact package is pretty much what you would expect. Arcane Signet, Prismatic Lens, Boros Signet, Soul Ring, Commander Sphere. the Swiftfoot Boots. Now, this is the Avatar Commander uh, release set, and I think it's really, really good. As far as like the artwork, I think it's really good for the artwork. They did really good with that. Talisman of Conviction, the Felwar Stone, a Thought Vessel. Just I don't think we'll have a max hand size, but you never know. A Wayfarer's Bubble, on a Mind Stone, and finally an Idol of Oblivion. We're making tokens. We can use this to tap and draw cards. Love it. They need to print more. I want this to be printed into the ground. I love this card. The card's awesome, and it deserves all of the hate that people want to throw at it because it's just a nice way for something like this, a Boros deck, to just go, you know what? I am going to draw that card. Look at me go. Finally, the enchantments. We're running just one with Takasha's Welcome. So whenever one or more creatures you control with mana value 3 or less enter, draw a card, triggers only once each turn. So we'll be able to draw a card here and there from this. Just some nice incremental gameplay. As we're playing the game, we're able to draw a card or two to help kind of keep up. We are in Boros. The card draw is by a mile weaker. So we got to do a little something, something here. We also run a pretty basic package of lands, I'd like to say. Between Battlefield Forge, Rooftop Retreat, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Exotic Orchard, Field of Ruin. Got to have my one piece of no touchy land removal. Rugged Prairie, a whole bunch of plains, Path of Ancestry. Not that necessary. It's just here because it's a rainbow land, honestly. It allows us to make mana of whatever color we need. So that's predominantly what it's here for. A whole bunch of Mountanas, Inspiring Verge, Fury Calm Snarl, Temple of Triumph, and finally a Terramorphic Expanse. So as you can see, the deck itself is pretty low to the ground. We have a beautiful curve up to 2, 3s and come pretty fair down to 4, 5, and 6. Predominantly a white deck, not a surprise there. I mean, we're going to have some pretty okay draws. We're going to have some things we can do here. I don't think I would keep a one-land hand. No, would not have done that. Yeah, that's better. Not really going far, but hey, it's better. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. Well, just doing a couple sample hands here. We're able to do a few things here and there. So you could really upgrade this deck if you're trying to go one of the 3 ways. So you could go more infinite token style, and you could make tokens, sack them to I don't know, Ashnod's Altar and just really go stupid. You could go more control style and focus on trying to get Yosai the Morning Star out and just locking down the game, and then from that point on you beat everybody to death with a big dumb flying dragon. Especially if you're hard locking Staxy kind of build. You could do a lot. So if we were to click over here to EDH Rex, which, by the way, I'm using Moxfield, not a sponsored or a affiliate of any way, shape, or form. Just the site I enjoy using. Maybe one day I will get sponsored. So help me out there. You can see some of the cards that people are suggesting as being used in this kind of build. From Impact Tremors, Skull Clamp, of course. I mean, it draws cards. Witty Roastmaster, again, pings everybody. And Harmonicon could be quite interesting, be a little wacky. Enduring Innocence would always be good. Goblin Bombardment's always good. Marvin allows you to basically have 2 of your commander at that point. Of course, land-based being upgraded is nothing new. Trumpeting Carnosaur would be hilarious. So when it enters, you can discover 5. That would be quite funny. Boros Charm, just Boros Protect kind of spell. Illusioner's Bracelets would allow you to copy Balloonman's ability because it isn't a mana ability. Let me clarify what that means. That means it doesn't produce mana when you use the Balloonman's ability. That's why Braziers works. If it was like Birds of Paradise, Braziers wouldn't work because Braziers says it cannot be a mana ability. Birds of Paradise produces a mana. It's something a lot of new players or even some older players don't quite understand, and I'm more than happy to tell you that's how it works. So, something you could do, and it's even still kind of budget, even it's only $3. Blast Act, if you wanted a better board wipe, which I don't think we need. Another White Orchid to help us ramp more if we need to. Potential combo piece with Astronaut's Altar. Even Caretaker's Talent could be quite good here. We're making tokens, drawing cards. Witch Enchanter, I mean, when it's self-explanatory. Enters, blow up something. Uh, you're going to see like Perforos, Agit Instigator. They're always good here. Kiki Jiki, you could always do some weird Kiki Jiki combo. War Leader's Call. It's just another Perforos effect. So like you could go hardcore into like the Perforos effect, if you will, and just make an infinite number of bodies and just king everybody to death. Um, Arabella is suggested to be added to most of these builds, and I don't think it works in this one. If you're trying to go infinite with like uh, ETB kill everybody kind of thing, I just don't see it working. Imperial Recruiter is obviously a tutor. Lauren does things. Delaney would be interesting. You can copy Balloonman's ability. Oh, and things like, well, I don't think you can copy that ability because it's not really a trigger. But Mondrak, one of our token doublers, untimely malfunction, another protection piece. Fodar Guardian is another one of those flicker effects that you can go infinite with. Recruiter of the Guard, hey man, let me see it. I would love to go tutor. Anointed Possession, more token doubling. Overlord would be interesting. What else we got? Matrite Stone allows us to untap our commander and do it again. Multiple copies of Whirlpool Engine would be interesting. Ephemerate is another blink / flicker. Of course, the land base. Elish Norn, Mother of All, so you can get multiple things happening that enter the battlefield and trigger multiple times. Ojatok, so this one does triple. Exalted Sunborn, it does double. Smothering Tithe and stuff like that's always interesting in here. Jessica's Will. Farewell, of course, Teferi's Protection. Nesting Dovehawk would be kind of funny if you were trying to go more wide and just beat everybody upside the head kind of play. So you can see there's a lot you could potentially do. Elspeth, double the tokens. Sundial the Infinite would allow you to end the turn. So instead of sacrificing those tokens at the end step, you just get to keep them. What else we got here? What else? And that, there's tutors. I mean, a Beza would be interesting, I guess, if you're, pretty far behind. Fountain Port gets more value out of the tokens we make. Pinnacle Monk, could be kind of fun. We're able to go rebuy instant sorceries. Even Convulsive Bear could be interesting. So, you could make a copy of this guy, sacrifice it with his ability, and then just like hose a Graveyard Reanimator deck. Like that would be fun. Oh, well, I'm just gonna make a copy of this guy. I'm just gonna exile your entire graveyard. So on you. Just took a big old stinky poo on you. Hope you like it. But this has been the Jolly Balloonman. Let me know what you think. Like, which route would you go? This is kind of like a happy medium, I would like to say. We can go infinite, but there's not like tutors to help us get there. It's definitely more of a janky kind of budget build, if you will. So I'm very curious to know, would you build Balloonman more like this, or would you like to harness him more, hone him more on the I'm making infinite tokens to infinitely kill everybody kind of thing, or would you make infinite tokens to go wide? It's an option too. You looking to just control everybody and show somebody a Boros control list? maybe this is your guy. So, I would like to know, which way would you, yes, you watching, which way would you build the Jolly Balloon Man? From the outline I've given you, you've got a lot of options. How evil and maniacal would you like to be? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, because you just never know what we're going to do on this channel. And if there's a commander that you want to see me build on a budget, and you have interest to seeing what can I do with a theme that you've been working on, leave me a comment on any of the videos, and I would love to read them and try to get back to you and see if we can make your wacky deck come true. Until then, remember, I've been the Buddha Dragon. Rub that belly for mana, and may all your games be filled with magic.